Welcome back. Rishi Sunak has scripted history and is all set to take over as the United Kingdom Prime Minister. This after his contender Penny Mordaunt withdrew from the race after not being able to muster enough numbers to contest for the Conservative Party leader's post. Sunak, on the other hand, received a wave of support of the Tory MPs, with over 160 of them declaring their support. Now Sunak will be the first leader of colour and the first Hindu to take up the top job in United Kingdom. At 42, he is also the youngest Prime Minister in more than 200 years.
I am humbled and honoured to have the support of my parliamentary colleagues and to be elected as leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party. It is the greatest privilege of my life to be able to serve the party I love and give back to the country I owe so much to. The United Kingdom is a great country, but there is no doubt we face a profound economic challenge. We now need stability and unity, and I will make it my utmost priority to bring our party and our country together.
The Conservative Party will soon have its new leader. I have been to different hustings and I have watched Rishi Sunak talk at these hustings. What I really like is that he stands up, he makes eye contact, and he gives very specific answers. The answers are not general. He gets to the point the question is being asked on, and then he definitely answers to the point that he can. What I did really see in him is sincerity. I did see conviction and courage. He served brilliantly when he was the Chancellor during the difficult COVID crisis. He really did step up. He stepped up immensely to make sure that the general public was taken care of, addressed the furlough scheme. There were so many things that we can go on and on about Rishi Sunak.
Let's also get you the reaction of the former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who also pulled out of the race as he welcomed Sunak's appointment as the new Prime Minister.
I know that there will be many people who are relieved, and perhaps quite a few who will also be disappointed. And I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. But them's the breaks.
And well, the United States President Joe Biden called the rise of the Indian origin Rishi Sunak as UK's next Prime Minister pretty astounding and a groundbreaking milestone.
Today, we've got news that Rishi Sunak is now the Prime Minister. As my brother would say, go figure. And the Conservative Party expected to become the Prime Minister, I think, tomorrow when he goes to see the King. Pretty astounding. A groundbreaking milestone, and it matters. It matters. Close with this. Few periods have been more challenging to our world than the one we're in right now.
Well, it's a groundbreaking milestone, yes, but Rishi Sunak is taking over at a time when the United Kingdom is facing a host of challenges, from inflation to the economic crisis and, of course, the labour shortage. Let's take you through some of the challenges that face Rishi Sunak. The first one, of course, is the hiked energy prices. And remember, in the United Kingdom, the inflation is at a 40-year high. It's exceeded even 10%. So the cost of living has shot up. This has, of course, led to a lot of anger across United Kingdom. So that's going to be one of the biggest challenges. Fixing the stalled economy owing to the challenges after COVID. Remember, his own financial policies were also criticized, and of course in the aftermath of the invasion of Ukraine as well. And there are concerns over labour shortage as well in the United Kingdom. There are widespread protests and strikes that are going on in the United Kingdom. So that's going to be one of the key challenges for Rishi Sunak, and of course ensuring political stability, because remember, even in his own Conservative Party there was a huge divide. Remember, Truss also had a very short stint at the top job, just 6 weeks. So this comes at a time when there is a lot of political instability in the United Kingdom. So these are going to be some of the challenges for Rishi Sunak, as he takes over as the United Kingdom Prime Minister in a little while from now. But of course, his rise to the top has been lit with a lot of challenges in itself. We remember he had started off as, of course, Chancellor and now taking up the top job. But his tenure as the Prime Minister comes after a lot of controversies that he has faced. Let's get to some of the reactions.
Rishi Sunak is therefore elected as leader.
Indian origin Rishi Sunak scripts history and is all set to take over the reins from outgoing UK Prime Minister Liz Truss, whose term at number 10 Downing Street was a short-lived one, 6 weeks to be precise. The 42-year-old ex-finance minister of Britain overtook Penny Mordaunt in the race to number 10 Downing Street. Sunak is all set to assume the mantle, but then he's also no stranger to controversies. Here are some instances when Sunak landed in a soup. In the past, Rishi Sunak has come under fire for his expensive tastes, one of which is his visit to a construction site while sporting a Prada shoes. Readers of a British daily caught Rishi Sunak off guard and expressed outrage over his expensive shoes. Some even said that the price paid for the luxury footwear could pay rent, buy food for 2 to 4 weeks, and even added that it was half of the state's pension. Well, in a private media's documentary series called Middle Classes, The Rise and Sprawl, 21-year-old Sunak spoke about his inner circle. And in the 2001 clipping, this is what Sunak said.
I have friends who are aristocrats, I have friends who are upper class, I have friends who are, working class, but I'm not working class, but I mix and match, and then I go to see kids from an inner city state school and tell them, to apply to Oxford and talk to them about people like me, and then I shock them at the end of chatting to them for half an hour and tell them I was at Winchester, and one of my best friends is from Eton or whatever, and then they're like, oh, okay.
Sunak said he has friends who are aristocrats, upper class, and not from the working class, and this dented Sunak's image, who proclaimed to be a man of the people. Well, this controversy wasn't an effect of Sunak's action, but his wife Akshata Murthy's. Firstly, Akshata Murthy is the daughter of Infosys founder Narayana Murthy. Now, about the controversy. It was reported that Sunak's wife pays a whopping £30,000 a year to maintain her non-domicile status, which meant she didn't have to pay UK's taxes on foreign income. However, after facing flack from public, she gave up her non-domicile status. But that's not all. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Sunak had urged British firms to stop investing with Moscow, while hailing companies like Shell and BP for pulling out. However, Infosys refused to stop operations in Russia, which armed the opposition, who accused Sunak's wife Akshata of collecting blood money in dividends from Infosys. Here's another controversy which landed Sunak's wife in hot waters during a cost of living crisis. A viral video shows Mrs. Murthy walking up to the journalists waiting outside their home and serving them tea and biscuits. Twitter users with an eye for details were quick to claim that the cups were from an exotic crockery brand, Emma Lacey, and costs £38 each. They said that the price of that mug could feed a family for 2 days. In a talk show for private British media channels, Sunak contradicted his own stance. He raised concerns about rising price of bread in the United Kingdom. But when Sunak was asked about the kind of bread he prefers, he replied saying that he had a whole range of different breads in his house. The clip was widely criticized. He drew flack from the Shadow Food Secretary Jim McMahon. McMahon went on to term Sunak continental breakfast chancellor and alleged that people struggled to afford a loaf of bread, but Sunak had different varieties at home. Well, those were some of Sunak's controversial episodes. Despite all the flack and criticism, when he takes over, Sunak has a daunting task ahead of him. With the controversies in the past and challenges in the immediate future, it remains to be seen how Sunak would perform his balancing act. Bureau Report, Times Now.